Hello, South Africa. All right, so something very cool. I just received this today from Noco. Obviously ordered this via Takealot. Took a couple of days just to get through to me, but it's a Noco Boost XL GB50. Very robust unit, size of my palm basically, you know, very light and very safe. So today I just want to test this thing. I haven't tested it. I just charged it since morning. Took about 3 or so hours to get fully charged. Comes in a very nice box. Slide through, and the packaging is quite nice as well. Obviously it comes in handy with warranty information. The user manual is very thick. It's got a whole lot of languages on there. Well, it doesn't have any South African languages except English, obviously, which is not South African, and everything else we can think of. Also, it's got a little cigarette lighter as well on there. Cigarette lighter type of socket to charge it up, obviously via a USB cable that it also comes with. It's a very robust USB cable. I'm gonna go ahead and put this away. That you can also charge in your wall socket. You can also charge that via a wall socket using any cell phone charger basically. There is the USB cable, micro USB on the one end and normal USB on the other. I'm basically hooked it up now to my Samsung fast charger. That's what I used to charge it up. It was pretty quick. I had it full in like 3 to 4 hours. It was full. So that unit right there is charged up. Comes also with a little carry bag, little Noco pouch. Obviously, if you check out their website, they also got some carry cases that are quite robust and quite fancy and nice to carry. I just ordered myself one of those. I'm eagerly waiting for that. Along with it, obviously, is this robust jumper cable. It's very strong. You can see the gauge of wire as well. It's quite a solid gauge of wire. It says on there that it's a, what gauge of wire is this? Just looking for the label here. Yeah, it's an 8 gauge. It's an 8 gauge wire. So basically on the unit itself, you can see it's got 3 ports. Obviously the 12 volt out over there. That's where you basically plug in your jumper cables. It doesn't go in wrongly, it can only go in one way. The one side is it's got corners and the other is a complete nice smooth circle right there. So you can't make that mistake. If you feel you need to force things, you're doing something wrong. Stop. On the other end, that's where you basically get your USB out. This is very fancy now because you can charge up your phone, you can charge up your headphones, you can charge up pretty much everything that you can charge using USB. And then for the USB in, that's where your micro USB comes in just to charge up this unit. And then this unit as well comes in with a lot of information on its own. You know, it can really guide you through what it's doing. As you can see, it's a GB50 Noco Boost XL. They've got 4 or 5 other products in this jump starter range. GB40, which is like 1000 amps. This is GB50, it's 1500 max. They've got a GB70 that goes up to 2000 amps. They've got another GB150 that's a bit higher than that, which is about 4000 amps. They also got another GB500. That's like a big boy. You're really going all the way out if you want that one. So there's a power button. You can see it's fully charged. It goes in increments of like 25%. There's 4 LEDs on there, 2 red, 75 is orange, and then you get your 100%, which is green. Alright, then just on the side of that battery level there, it also shows you 3 little signs. Although the first one, that looks like your freezing sign, you know, on your dashboard in your car when it's cold. That's basically telling you that the battery or the unit basically is approaching or is in the cold range. It might warn you that it can still work, but then if it goes blue and then off, it tells you it's too cold, you can't really use it, all the functions are not going to work. Then you basically need to bring it to room temperature or something like that just to get it back to working temperature. The next one on there is your hot warning sign as well. When the unit gets too hot, it will also tell you if it's still safe to use, or if it's on shutdown mode, you can't really use it. Then you have to bring that temperature down. And then there is an exclamation mark warning sign there. Basically, this guy tells you, you know, it shows you the intelligence once more of this guy when you kind of, when you jump starting and you crisscross your positive and negative, the unit basically doesn't come live. It gives you a warning on there to say, hey buddy, what are you doing? You got this opposite, you know, sort it out. And then that kind of tells you to say, okay, how safe this guy is at. So you can actually have the unit on and basically go ahead and short these two guys, you know, and it's not going to spark. It's basically a spark proof sort of functionality that it's got. So I can go ahead and demonstrate that right now with this guy switched off. And this guy only goes in one way. Okay, it's in right there and it's on there. So basically the power is on, and then my two leads can come together, you know, no spark, nothing. And then what happens there? It tells you you've got a shot. Okay, it tells you you've got a shot, but you're also safe on this end. So the other thing as well that I know Noco, or I think Noco has done properly according to me, is if you look at the leads as well, somebody might want them to be a bit longer, you know, so that they can be able to maneuver different areas of access on there. But there's basically a very good engineering reason, you know, for making them this short. Because if you look at what resistance does to electrical circuit, and putting in mind that this is only a 12-volt circuit, so your voltage drop can pretty much mess you up if you've got bigger loads. If you look at your formula for resistance with relation to resistivity of your conductors, where your coefficient obviously of resistivity times your length, then divided by the surface area of your conductor gives you your resistance. So if you go ahead and increase the length of your conductors, you're basically increasing now your resistance, and that is got a negative effect on your 12 volts, which is your voltage. So the only other way to then reduce your voltage drop will be to sort of also increase the area, you know, of your leads. But now that defeats the whole purpose of staying small, which is what Noco is trying to achieve here, staying small. This guy can probably basically easily fit in your glove box, and you can carry it all the time with you. So it's a very, very valid reason for keeping them short and sweet. So what I want to go ahead and do, I don't have a dead battery right now. The battery is working pretty fine on my Mercedes AMG line. So what I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and disconnect the battery, and I really want to put this guy to the test and just see that with no battery at all, this guy can will he be able to start up my Mercedes with no battery? So this unit, how clever it is it's got a functionality when you hook it up to the battery to sort of detect if the battery is there, you know. So if your battery is above 2 volts, it will pick it up, and those LEDs will start cycling from minimum to max. And you've got a boost LED here. It will switch on as well to show that now your 12 volts is going out to leads, and you can basically jump your battery. So in my case now that the battery will be disconnected, that means this guy is not going to pick up my battery, right? But then there is a boost, or it's basically a manual bypass switch on the Noco products here. So if you then hold that guy in for 3 seconds, what it does is it bypasses the safeties. So all that cold, the temperature warnings, the reverse polarity, the short circuit protection, they fly out of the way, right? So that's not there anymore. So you need to be careful on what you're doing. You need to make sure that positive is hooked to positive and negative is hooked to negative all the time. If you're in that bypass mode, because there's no safeties when you're in bypass. So that's the mode that we're going to go ahead and use to jump a car without the battery. So let me quickly do that right now. So I'll just disconnect one leg, which is going to be my negative leg from my battery. So off my battery, so we don't at all accidentally introduce the battery on there. So I've got my negative exposed right there, and then my positive, I'll use the one on the already provided on there. So just want to show you that right now as it is. The car is totally on the dash. Just show me the dash here on this side. Now, and the dash is basically off, you know. Nothing is coming on, no radio, nothing. All right. So we'll go ahead now and hook up. So we'll go ahead and switch that guy off. And then go ahead and hook it up. So that's going to be positive, and then the negative is on the negative cable, on the negative lead. All right, so we've got that, and we know that's positive, that's a negative, and then we switch on our Noco. All right, so the lights on the Noco are not cycling. It's showing us that it's not picking up the battery. So once again, if we check the dash as it is now, it shouldn't give us any power, right? Okay, so we shouldn't get any power right now, which is still the case. So the Noco is still not in firing mode because we then go ahead on the Noco, that functionality for going into manual bypass. So if we hold lighting for 3 seconds, this guy should come on. Okay, so as you can see, 3 seconds later, that comes on and the LED starts cycling. Then the bypass light LED is flashing, right, to show that, okay, we're in bypass. We are now pretty much ready. You can go ahead now. There is something obviously there. There's a bit of lights, so you can switch it on just to give it more power. Just try and make sure that all the other things are off, you know, like your radio and all the other auxiliaries that you might have connected, your phone, etc. Just unplug those just to give it a better chance. So we can go ahead and try and start that guy now, only using the Noco, right? So there we go. So started one kick, no problem. This guy is awesome. I mean, I'm impressed with the Noco. So one kick and it started it out, you know. So I can go ahead now and switch that off. Was that a fluke? Let's try it again. Let's see if that guy is gonna start my car again. Man, I don't know what to say. This guy just does it, you know. It doesn't struggle at all, you know. Imagine if you also had a battery in there. In my case, I don't even have a battery. It's totally disconnected, and just one kick, you know. I'm happy. So we can go ahead and disconnect the Noco. So we can go ahead and take it out of bypass again. Alright, so now it's not giving any power. We can go ahead and switch it off, and we can disconnect our leads. Job well done, Noco. The GB50, quite impressive, very, very impressive. So let's just see how much charge we still have on the. Man, this guy is still on 100%. Like he didn't feel anything. So I would really recommend this thing, the Noco Boost Genius XL GB50. Go ahead and get yourself one. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the product when you get it. Bye for now. So for my earlier video, I just put this guy under test, starting my Mercedes without any battery, the battery disconnected. So the one thing as well that I've noticed this guy has is just a quick one. It's got some LED lights there that basically a flashlight that you can use when you're out there in the bush or when you're working on your engine. So on one of the buttons there's a light button there. So if you can go ahead and just flick that on, okay, it comes on bright, it reduces the brightness, it dims again. Now it kind of gives you an SOS, you know, when you're out there, and then it goes off. Now if you go in repeatedly from bright, dim again, past SOS, right, then it comes in, it gives you like a strobe, okay? Say you're out there and it's quite hazardous, you're on the road, you want to warn other motorists, then you can go ahead and use that mode where it's flashing from side to side just to warn other people. So that's the other functionality, you know, besides charging your USB devices and all, this guy can be your savior as well when it comes to road safety, you know, or pretty much when you're all out in the dark and you need some light, you know, there you go, you can pretty much shine that there very bright, as you can see, you know. So yeah, that's just one last thing on the GB50. The rest of the stuff is on my other video on the functionality of this here guy. Very impressive. Obviously designed in the US and manufactured in China for obvious reasons. Obviously they list the brands out in the US, and it's quite impressive. It's quite an impressive piece of tool, you know. Well done, guys. This is impressive. I would recommend this any day and every day. Goodbye again. Bye for now.